Easy one, right? All right, so a journey through Gemara Seder Moed, which it's a lengthy list, but a lot of the Masechtas are kind of small. It's Shabbos, Eruvin, Psachim, Shkalim, Yerushalmi, Yuma, Sukkah, Beitza, Rosh Hashanah, Tainus, Megillah, Moed Katan, and Chagiga. So kind of is the whole panoply of Chagim that we have in Yadus. Has interestingly kind of been like one big adventure in Drush. Drush is a kind of exegetical interpretation where, and the Amoraim seem to be all bent on this, that one of the pretty much the first question after every Mishnah is something along the lines of Minah Hani Mili or Minalan. And what they try to do is they bring psukim and argue about psukim, and then what they try to do is take the Mishnah and root it in a source in the Torah. So without getting too deep into the debate about the nature of drush, let's just suffice to say there's two main schools of thought to deciphering what it is that the Amoraim were doing when debating a source for a practice of Judaism that was extant in their times. So one is that it's kind of like a mnemonic device to help people remember. It was oral back then, it wasn't written. So to remember the oral law. So there's, you kind of go through the Torah. Oh, there's this word that reminds me of this halacha. So that's what it was. It's hard to kind of jive that with the kind of intensity of their debates because they're pretty intense. So that it's a simple mnemonic is, I don't know if it's that compelling. The other school of thought is that it's an exercise in unveiling the written law and showing how both the oral law and written law are in their essence one. So because the debates rage so fiercely in the Gemara, which pasuk to use, which canon of interpretation to use, my hunch is that it's the second one. There's also that cryptic Mishnah in Avos that everyone is familiar with, Ben Bagbag Omer, Hafoch ba, Dekula ba, which probably means this, that you, Torah Shebiksav, you go through it, it's the Devar Hashem, everything is in it, even for the entire Torah Shebal Peh. But I'd just like to quickly share with you a very kind of penetrating Orach Chaim that I've only recently come across, who comes down very strongly on the side of the unveiling. He says, Kain Hain Emes, Shekol Davar Torah, Nemar La Moshe. Everything was said to Moshe. Ve'ein Chacham Yachol Adat, Yoter Mimashi Yada Moshe. No one knows more than Moses knew. V'hagam Shetzarei Kol Adorat Yisrael Miyom Matan Torah Ad Shetamale Haaretz Dea Ein Chidush Shelo Yada Moshe. Until for time immemorial and until the future, no one's going to know more than Moses knew. Aval HaHefresh Hu Ki Moshe Natan Lo Hashem Torah Shebiktav V'Torah Shebal Peh. Rather, Hashem gave Moshe both the oral law and the written law. V'hinei Ha'adon Baruch Hu B'chachmato Yitbarach Rasham B'Torah Shebiktav Kol HaTorah Shebal Peh. God, in essence, kind of imprinted on the Torah Shebiktav all the Torah Shebal Peh. Sha'amar La Moshe Aval Lo Hodia La Moshe Kol Ma Shenatan Lo Bal Peh. But he didn't tell Moshe where it all is hidden in the Torah Shebiktav. Heichan Ramuz. V'zohi avodat b'nei Yisrael amolei Torah, and this is the work of Am Yisrael. Yishvu halachos, yishvu halachos, shenemru l'Moshe b'Sinai, v'hasodos v'hadrashos, to take all those halachos, the halachos bal peh, that were told to Moshe at Har Sinai, and the sodos and the drashos, kulam yitnu lahem makom b'Torah shebiktav. So the Orach Chaim saying that the work of B'nai Torah in every generation, and including the Amoraim and the Tanoim, was to take the Torah Shebal Peh and reveal it within the Torah Shebiktav. So I think that probably, at least for me, is a compelling argument as to what the Amoraim were doing throughout this in Talmud. Just like kind of a quick example. Why is it only on six like an example of something that we do and think about it a little bit more deeply? Why is it that we only bench on bread? We're gonna have bread in this Shem in a few minutes. So why not on the let's say the Shivat Hamini? We see a bracha me'ein shalosh. It's kind of like benching, but why not on them also? Right. So the Gemara Brachos Mem Daled, to Machlokas Rabban Gamliel and the Rabban about this issue. they look at the psukim and they say, well, how is it structured? So there's 3 psukim. They have the psukim about the Shivat HaMinim, and the pasuk after that talks about the greatness of Israel. Eretz Asher Lo Miskinut Tochal Balachem. It's gonna be easy to eat bread. And it says after that, so Rabban Gamliel says it's all one topic, all seven Shivat HaMinim you have to bench after you have grapes, after you have dates. The Chachamim say you don't. It's the Eretz Asher Lo Miskinut is a new topic, and it mentions bread in that pasuk. And because of a hekesh of bread to benching Gachalta V'Savata, it's only on bread. The Torah is telling us, and this is Balpah. I'm sure that they weren't benching on dates back then, but it's a Torah Shabbalpah. What they're doing is they're taking the practice and they're seeing how it's revealed in the Torah Shabbatab through a hekesh, and that is what Gemara does a lot throughout Seder Moed. So just to kind of finish off, Reish Lakish says, Ein or shel Gehenim shel letas v'poshe Yisrael. That the fire of Gehenna is not going to rule over even the sinners of Israel. So how do we know this? Kal v'chomer, again, a drush, mimizbeach hazav. Mami's from the golden altar in the temple, which is a kind of a wooden altar plated in gold. Mimizbeach hazahav she'ein alav ela ka'ove dinar. Zahav is only a very thin amount of gold plating it. Kamashanim eina or shel letas, though it didn't blacken because of all those centuries of use. So it's very thin, and I think what he's saying is that it's like a chafetz the mitzvah. It's part of the use in the mitzvah. So we're going to see like it's embedded in with kedusha. So that thing, even it's very thin, it didn't blacken. Poshe Yisrael shemalei and mitzvos karimon. The sinners of Israel who are apparently filled with mitzvos like a pomegranate, again from Drush Tichtiv Kefela Harimon Rakatech from Shir Hashirim. Like a section of a pomegranate are your temples. Al tikri rakatech. Don't read rakatech. Ella rekanim shebacha. But rather the empty ones, the ones who are empty of Torah mitzvos within you. Alachas kama v'chama. So they're also apparently the Poshe Yisrael. Every Jew is embedded with a chefza de kedusha, just like the gold plating on the golden altar in the temple. And with that, Hadran Alach Chomer B'Kodesh Slik Allah Masech Chagiga, the Seder Moed. Hadran Alach Seder Moed v'Hadra Chalan, Daitan Alach Seder Moed v'Daita Chalan, Lo Nismis Leminach Seder Moed v'Lo Nismis Leminach, Lo Ba'alma Hadem v'Lo Ba'alma Da'aseh. Hadran Alach Seder Moed v'Hadra Chalan, Daitan Alach Seder Moed v'Daita Chalan, Lo Nismis Leminach Seder Moed v'Lo Tishmis Leminach, Lo Ba'alma Hadem v'Lo Ba'alma Da'aseh. Hadron Allah Seder Moed v'Hadra Chalan, Daitan Allah Seder Moed v'Daita Chalan, Lo Nishin Seminach Seder Moed v'Lo Tishis Seminan, Lo Ba'alma Hadem v'Lo Ba'alma Da'aseh. Yiratzon v'Levanacha Adon Eloheinu v'Levatzinu Shetahid Saras V'Manu Sinu Ba'Lamazeh Usti Manu Lam Haba Chanina Bar Papa Rami Bar Papa Nachma Bar Papa Achoy Bar Papa Amba Mari Bar Papa Rachman Bar Papa Rachish Bar Papa Sroka Bar Papa Adam Bar Papa Zur Bar Papa. Harab now the Nalanas to get Saras Kabino V'Yamas Yisrael Niyah Kulanu Anachnu V'Tetzainu. That's it. So I am a Chabit Israel. Kolanu Yodish Nachav Alomnes or Vasacha Lishma. Mehoivai Techachmini Mitzvasacha Kili Olam Kili Bi Samim Bichukacha Laman Lo Yevosh. Lo Olam Lo Ashkachni Fodacha Kivam Chisana Baruch Atah Adonai Lamdini Chukacha Amen 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 Salav Ed Modim Anachnu V'Tavanacha Rachidim Alevasinum. Just Samta Chalkinim Yoshua Beis Midrash. V'Lo Samta Chalkinim Yoshua Kronos. Shana Mashkim Mehem Mashkim Anu Mashkim the Devar Torah Mehem Mashkim the Devar Matelim. Anu Amelim Mehem Amelim Anu Amelim No Kamas Sachar. Mehem Amelim Ein Kamas Sachar. Anu Ratzim Him Ratzim Anu Ratzim Chayim Abal. Mehem Ratzim Devar Shachas Never V'Atah Elohim Taredim Devar Shachas An Shajam Mirma Lo Yechutz Yemim Ani Ab Tachbach. Ratzim Nachan Ohai Kishimish Azotam the same Seder Moed Kenetas in the Haskell. Sidarim Usvarim Acherim the Simon Lil Modalami the Shmor Balasos the kind of cold Risama to Razacha Behavva is Hus Kola Tanai Amoraim the Sami the Chachamim Yamo Lil Zari Shalos Mosh Atorim Piyum Pizari Zara Zariad Olam. This is Kain Bi His Halacha Khatan Khawsaf B'Shach Khatishmor Alacham Hakitos East Chacha Kivi Yirbo Yamachali Yosif Alachash Noshaim Elrachim Mimina Bismillah Osher Bachava Danai Ozam Yitena Danai Varechas Hanova Shalom. Misrazi Sarash Mirava, Allah the Yasik Sadal Yaha, Messiah Saka Yasama Kayoma, make Arti Shlaim La Shakala, Allah the Gaba, the Nakar Pukana, the Ram Yarava, so Pukana, the Shmaya Yasur, Galit, Puchurico, the Mapu City Kore, Yasin Pukane, Kore, Shikay, I call him the Kunda, I call it Israel, Allah is my Karik, Ruame. Some of our people that is some of the higher teams and say or coming to come out and hold it try out your road and do a day. Based on our try the Kaim, I think our police of the Raven or session on the number of Yasser. So long with our police try out the room on me. Thank you. Thank you. Huge accomplishment. Thank you. Oh, here, kind of like my project. Oh, wow. It's just a sampler of the mitzvahs that I worked on. It's basically my notes. Thank you. Just a quick announcement. So, as I've been going through it, I've been taking kind of copious notes and kind of compiling them and consolidating them into kind of like an idea that I had that came across with I got into argument with my brother about, well, where is everything? What do we do? How is it? Where is it in the Torah? So I'm kind of went out to prove this is a big proof kind of against him. That everything that we do is somehow sourced in the Torah. So what I've done throughout the family is try to do that. Which things are what the Rabbana, which things are Doraisa, what the Torahs are that the Amoraim use. I only have 2 of them in hard copy, but I'd be happy to send you the sampler that I made. It's also this not complete. Also, I have a Haggadah. And want that as well. We'll put that. And all are welcome to eat.